What's up, world? Mr. When Legitimate Speaks here, Shaughnessy Haynes, and I would like to talk to you guys a little bit today about the dynamics of a relationship. I have seen oftentimes on social media over the last couple of months about how relationships should or should not be 50-50. What's a woman's role in a relationship versus what's a man's role in a relationship, and how men should be the protector and the provider and pay all the bills, and how women should be the nurturer and the stay-at-home wife and take care of home and take care of the kids. And I'm just here today to share my experiences and share my opinions on the situation from a gentleman's perspective. So let's start off talking about the dynamics of a relationship. When you're in a relationship or a marriage, you are each other's better half. Where I lack, my wife's supposed to pick up. Where my wife lacks, I'm supposed to pick up. If my wife is tired, I'm her energy. If I'm tired, she's my energy. If she's sick, I'm her healer. If I'm sick, she's my healer. That's what I feel like the basic dynamics of a relationship is. AKA, she always has my back. I always have her back. It's no days off from that. I don't get to take a day off from having my wife's back. She's my rock. She's my everything. And wherever she's weak, I have to be her strength. And I know feels the same exact way about me. That's the basic dynamics that every relationship or marriage should be able to entail and be able to uphold. You don't get to take days off from that. You don't get to take days off from loving your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. You don't get days to take off from worrying about them or caring about them or fulfilling their emotional needs. If that's the case, you should have never got into a relationship to begin with. You should have never got married to begin with. Once you have a child, you don't get to take a day off from being a parent. So if you're married or in a serious relationship, why do you get to take a day off from being a partner? It doesn't work that way. You have to balance that into your life. So let's dig into this debate that has been going around about what's the dynamics of a relationship or what a man should do versus what a woman should do. I just think that in today's society that I don't necessarily disagree with what a man's role should be versus what a woman's role should be. I do think a man's supposed to provide and protect for his family. I do think a woman is supposed to be a nurturer. However, this is 2018. It's not 1945 anymore. It's not 1957 anymore. It's not 1963. We are not our grandparents. And with time changes, we have to change. Our mindsets have to change. Our thinking has to change. And I think that in order for a relationship and a couple to grow to that level to where they're comfortable with each other and they're comfortable with the lifestyle that they're trying to live, they have to do everything together. And I think they have to communicate with each other and they have to sit down and figure out what's a plan that's applicable for their relationship and what's going to help them grow and what's going to help them live comfortably and not outside of their means. And when you get to the point to where you're trying to live these stereotypical roles, I feel like it just puts more pressure on one party that shouldn't even be there. It's unnecessary pressure. It's unnecessary stress that could be alleviated by just communication and both of y'all getting on the same page. So let me give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. Let's say you have a couple, married couple with two kids, and they both make $55,000 a year. Now, in my opinion, $55,000 a year is not a lot of money to live off of. But when you have two salaries of $55,000 a year, I feel like you can live pretty comfortably. So let's just say if the husband loses his job, or even if he gets demoted, laid off, or they're thinking about laying him off, so they decide to demote him, so now he's making less money. So if this family is living this stereotypical role, this man is already going through the stresses of losing his job, possibly losing his job, being demoted, making less money now. So now he still has to come home and stress out on how the mortgage is going to get paid, how the light bill is going to get paid, how the water bill is going to get paid, how the gas bill is going to get paid, how the kids' tuition is going to get paid, how they're going to get school uniforms. This is all of the stuff that now the provider is supposed to figure out on top of how can I make more money? Do I go get a second job now? Do I ask to pick up extra shifts to make more money or stay and work overtime? So not only is he mentally draining himself, he's also physically draining himself as well because he has to figure out what he has to do to make more money to be the provider for his family. All the while, The wife is still working comfortably. She still gets her paycheck on the 1st and the 15th. She takes her money. She buys the groceries like she's supposed to, and she's taking care of home like she's supposed to. But it's not her role, according to some, that she shouldn't help pay bills in the house. Even if the husband is struggling, he's supposed to figure that out. Why would you want your husband to go through that? Why would you not want to go to your husband and say, look, babe, I'm here for you. I'm going to help hold this down until you get back on your feet. I'm going to be that backbone that you need. I'm going to be that strength because I can physically see that you're weak right now. So I'm going to step in and be that strength. That's what relationships are supposed to be about. It's not about this is my role and this is your role. And of course, there will be that role that you have to play in your relationship. I'm a man's man. My wife already knows I'm going to provide for her. She knows I'm going to always have her back no matter what. Whatever she needs from me, I'm going to make it happen. That's the type of man that I am. And I know she's the same exact way when it comes to me. But I know with every relationship is different. Some people are better well off than others. Me and my wife, we both have great careers. We both make good money. We live comfortably. That doesn't say that something can happen to one of us one day to where the other one is going to have to step up to the plate. And I expect if that situation was to happen to me, that my wife would step up to that plate. I wouldn't even have to ask my wife that. I know that she would do it without me even having to ask her to. And that's what make our relationship strong. That is what makes our marriage continue to grow because she gets me and I get her. Now let's flip this around again. Now let's use the woman in this situation. So let's say if the husband is working good and the wife is also working good, but now the wife is working overtime at work. She's having to stay later. She's having to get these projects turned in on time. She's having people call out on her. So she has to pick up other work and finish their work. And now she's going in at 7 a.m. in the morning, but now she normally gets off at 4, but now she's working past 6, 7 o'clock at night. And the husband still gets off at 5 o'clock every day. He went to the gym already. He'd washed the car already. So now he's chilling, but he expects the wife to still come home and cook. You know that she's working late, so you still expecting the wife to come home at 7 o'clock and get homework done with the kids. You still expecting the wife to come home and wash your dirty underwear when you know how to wash clothes? Like, where is the man in that? Like, just because that's my wife's role is to take care of home, I'm going to sit back and I'm watching her mentally destroy herself and physically destroy herself. And I'm going to sit back and say, nah, that's her role. I'm chilling. The game about to come on, about to watch Kobe. Of course, I'm a Lakers fan. Pelicans, shout out. But I'm going to sit back and watch the game, and she going to have to just still cook when she get here. Nah, that's not the dynamics of a relationship. That's not the dynamics of a marriage. You're supposed to have each other's back. Where she falls short, I step in. Where I fall short, she steps in. And this is what we have to remember if we're trying to grow prominent relationships in 2018. It's not about what my role should be. I'm going to play my role. It's not about what her role should be. She's going to play her role, and she will always play her role. It's about us coming together and understanding that one needs help. So we're going to step in and help each other. If we're making the same amount of money, or even if I make more money, or even if my wife makes more money than me, that doesn't matter. We have a household that we have to manage. So in our household, we're going to come together and figure out what's best for us to live comfortably in our household. Whether that's my wife saying, you take care of the mortgage and I'm going to take care of the bills. And this week, I'm going to pick the kids up from daycare. And next week, you got them. Or you cook this week and I cook this week. I can cook. So I have no problem getting in the kitchen whipping something up for my wife. I know how to wash clothes. My mother raised me right. So I know how to do everything domestically myself. So I don't have to sit back and say, this is a woman's job, so I'm going to expect my wife to wash clothes. No, I get in there and wash my own clothes. My wife is tired. The only thing she needs to worry about when she gets home is her coming home relaxing, me rubbing her feet for her and her just unwinding from her mentally exhausting day. My wife has a very stressful job, so I get it. I don't always expect her to step up and be the housewife. I could be a house husband. So my point is, learn each other. Understand what each other need for you to grow, for your relationship in particular grow. Stop listening to all of these outside people and saying, what your role is in a relationship versus what their role in the relationship is, and what's the husband role versus what's the wife role. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes your relationship grow, because you can't live for everybody else. Your relationship can grow individually. That doesn't mean the person next door to you is going to grow, even if they're doing the same exact thing that you're doing. So communicate with your partner on a daily basis. See what they need, see what help they need, see what mental space that they're in, and make sure that you two come together to make your relationship grow to the levels that it needs to be. Mr. Winter Gentleman Speaks, I appreciate y'all taking the time today.